The Expedition of Terror. Dr. Abigail Simmons, a renowned paleontologist, led a team of researchers on an expedition deep into the Amazon rainforest to search for an undiscovered dinosaur species. The team consisted of her trusted colleague, Dr. James Peterson, their field assistant Laura, and a local guide named Diego. One day, while exploring a remote riverbank, they stumbled upon an extraordinary find: a nest of large, seemingly fossilized eggs, partially buried in the mud. Excitement surged through the team as they realized they were on the brink of a groundbreaking discovery. As they carefully excavated the eggs, they noticed strange markings on nearby trees. Diego, familiar with the local legends, warned the group that they had disturbed the resting place of a cursed dinosaur species. However, his caution fell on deaf ears, as the researchers were too consumed with their discovery to pay heed to the local superstitions. That night, as the team slept soundly in their camp, the ground began to tremble. One by one, the fossilized eggs began to crack open, releasing creatures that had been trapped in time. The cursed dinosaurs grew to adult size almost immediately, twisted, monstrous, and hungry for revenge on those who had disturbed their resting place. The expedition team awoke to the sounds of snarls and roars, their hearts pounding in terror as they found themselves surrounded by the nightmarish creatures. The dinosaurs were unlike anything they had ever seen, a grotesque fusion of prehistoric species, part Tyrannosaurus and part Stegosaurus, with razor-sharp claws, rows of serrated teeth, hardened scales, and a thirst for blood. In a desperate attempt to slow the creatures down, Dr. Simmons devised a plan. They would create a diversion by setting fire to their camp, hoping the flames would distract the dinosaurs long enough for them to find a way out of the jungle. With heavy hearts, the team set their research and supplies ablaze, watching as the fire roared to life. The plan worked, and the dinosaurs were drawn to the inferno, their sinister eyes reflecting the dancing flames. While the creatures were momentarily distracted, the team made their escape. Diego, using his knowledge of the terrain, led the group through the dense jungle, weaving in and out of the trees to confuse their relentless pursuers. As the team made their escape through the dense foliage, they were all too aware of the hidden dangers that lurked around every corner still. The rainforest was a treacherous place, teeming with poisonous plants and venomous creatures just waiting for the opportunity to strike. Catching their breath and taking a short break, Dr. Simmons felt something brush against her leg. Thinking it was just another vine, she reached down to move it out of her way. As she grasped the vine, she realized with horror that it was not a plant, but a highly venomous snake, a bushmaster, known for its aggressive behavior and deadly bite. The snake, startled by the sudden contact, reared back, preparing to strike her. She found herself frozen, staring down the snake's unblinking eyes, its forked tongue flicking in and out menacingly. In the split second before the snake lunged, Dr. Peterson sprang into action. Using a long, sturdy branch, he swiftly pinned the snake's head to the ground, preventing it from striking Dr. Simmons. The snake writhed and hissed, its fangs bared as it fought against the pressure of the branch. Diego walked over and with his machete made sure it wasn't going to bite anyone anymore. Dr. Simmons, her heart still pounding, turned to Dr. Peterson and Diego and thanked them for their quick thinking and bravery. The incident had left them all shaken, but more determined than ever to rely on each other to escape this nightmare. Hours later, the team reached the edge of the rainforest. They began to think that they had finally escaped the cursed dinosaurs' relentless pursuit. They allowed themselves a moment of relief, their hearts still pounding with the adrenaline of their harrowing journey. But just as they thought they were safe, the chilling sounds of snarls and roars echoed through the trees, signaling that their nightmare was far from over. The grotesque dinosaurs reappeared, bursting through the foliage with rage-filled eyes intent on hunting down the intruders who had disturbed their slumber. The team's hope quickly turned to despair as they realized that they had been too naive to think they could outrun the ancient terrors. In a last-ditch effort to save themselves, Diego recalled an old native technique for survival passed down through generations. He quickly instructed the team to cover themselves in mud, masking their scent and blending into the environment. They smeared the mud on their skin and clothes, their hands shaking with fear and urgency. Hidden in the shadows, the team watched as the dinosaurs stalked past them, searching for their prey. The creatures' breaths were hot and rancid, their enormous bodies casting ominous shadows on the ground. As they waited, the tension in the air was suffocating, the weight of the silence crushing them. In a cruel twist of fate, Diego's mud-covered boot slipped on a wet rock, sending a resounding splash through the still air. The dinosaurs' attention was immediately drawn to the sound, their eyes narrowing in on the source. The team watched in horror as Diego, their local guide, heroically drew the dinosaurs away from them, sacrificing himself for their survival. His screams and cries echoed through the rainforest, followed by the guttural roars of the monstrous predators. With heavy hearts and immense gratitude for Diego's bravery, the team resumed their journey to safety, leaving the horrifying scene behind. The tragedy of Diego's sacrifice would forever haunt their memories, a grim reminder of the price they had paid for delving into the ancient secrets hidden deep within the Amazon rainforest. As they returned to civilization, Dr. Simmons and Dr. Peterson vowed never to forget the terrible creatures they had awakened, Diego's sacrifice, and the lesson they had learned that some secrets were best left undiscovered.